Hi, welcome to my series of video clips on how to get your CV to the top of the pile and noticed with potential employers. In this day and age, it's definitely it is a lot more frustrating getting noticed by employers. The competition's a lot higher, unemployment's very high. I've put together a selection of 8 video clips. The first one basically covering presentation. So the first thing that any employer will look at on your CV is how does it look? When they look at it, does it, is it nice on the eye? Can they easily read your CV, or is it all squidged up? Is it all, really tiny font or a very big font? So that's one of the key things that they're going to be looking at. Number of pages. One of the things that employers have talked about. It's not employers. The industry standard, people say, is must keep your CV to 2 pages. Don't. Yeah, if you've got many years of experience, keeping your CV to 2 pages isn't actually going to get your message across. I'll probably keep it to 4, no more than 5. Yeah, but 2 pages. People find very difficult, and very rarely do we get an excellent 2-page CV to get all their experience down into 2 pages. So if you're a recent graduate or don't have much experience, 2 pages fine. Don't feel you have to do more than 2 pages. But if you've got 10 years or more experience, the employer's going to want to read what you've been doing. So ideally no more than 5 pages, but that's something to bear in mind. One of the things that I notice straight away in CVs is consistency. So I've spoken about the ease, how it looks, how it's laid out on the page, but actually looking at consistency. So if you've used a particular font for your text, make sure you've used that font throughout the whole of the CV. So if it's Verdana, for example, make sure every time you write something, it's in Verdana. Sometimes the computer likes to do odd things and convert it back to Times New Roman, and if somebody's looking at a lot of CVs, that is really noticeable. If you've used a different font for your titles, that's fine. Once again, make sure that's consistent throughout the CV. Also, with respect to alignment, so some people, the way they write, you'll put your the name of the company you've written, and then you might tab over a few and then put the period of time that you were there. Just make sure the next time you write that, it's in the same place. Bullet points, full stops, those sort of things. So if you're using bullet points under one employment career history, then make sure you're using the same bullet points further down in your CV. Or if you've used full stops at the end of your bullet points. I think the rule is not to use full stops on bullet points, but just be consistent. So either don't use them at the end of your bullet points, or do use them. But don't have some sentences with bullet points and some sentences without bullet points, because then it looks like attention to detail's missing, and you're not really selling yourself. You're letting yourself down a little. Spelling and grammatical errors are the number one thing to look out for. An employer is going to be opening your CV 9 times out of 10. It's going to be on a computer. If there are spelling mistakes, they're going to be underlined in red. That's Word does that for us these days. If there are grammatical errors, they'll be underlined in green. So watch out for them. But sometimes Word removes them, so you don't actually notice they're there. So make sure the final thing you do before you send your CV to any prospective recruiter, employer, somebody to review your CV, you've done many spell checks and grammatical errors. Read your CV in detail, because sometimes the spell check will convert words, so it might convert you might have misspelled from, and they'll put form in there. So, there's so many different ones that come up, so be really careful with that, because that once again won't be fantastic for your attention to detail. Okay, so that's the first thing. Presentation. How does it look? How is it laid out? Is it easy for the person to read? Are they going to want to read your CV? Yeah, so I'll stop there. Join me on the video 2 where I'm going to be going over what to include in your CV. So what do you need to include in your CV? I'll see you then. Bye bye.